where's the fucking money, Lebowski? Where's the money, shithead? I didn't realize that was like the first 60 seconds of the movie because I've heard those so many times.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another Versus episode on From Screen to Shelf. I am Chase. This is Gabe. He told me to watch The Big Lebowski. I told him to watch When Evil Lurks. So I am literally bursting at the seams. My skin is ripping apart to find out how much he liked this movie. So Gabe, without further ado, let us all know your thoughts on When Evil Lurks.
So Evil Lurks, man, you had hyped this movie up a lot, and you said you didn't want to. I know that you were like trying to refrain yourself from hyping it up, and I think you gave it a Hereditary comparison. You said like it's very much
with the shock
Hereditary.
value.
Yeah. So I really liked this movie. I thought it was great. So I actually really enjoyed it. So let me get like my critiques out the way, and then I'll talk about what I really enjoyed. So my only critiques I had about this movie are twofold. So like the beginning intro. And we're talking spoilers, guys. So I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, obviously wait and watch it and come back and watch this. But the introduction. So when they're talking about like the rotten and the possessed, right? Like you see this guy in the bed, and my only critique is I wish they went into a little bit more of like what the possessed are and what they do, because like I know you kind of figure it out as the movie goes along, and that's actually when I started enjoying the film, when I kind of got a sense of what it is. It's almost like just this kind of disease that kind of spreads, right? Where it's like, going from one person to the next. And but I didn't understand at the beginning. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this rotten, this possessed? Like, why are they trying to like dump them out in the field? Like, but I also understand kind of like, the filmmakers obviously want to leave some like, ambiguity and some mystery to it. So that was my critique at the beginning, because I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, and they're even using these terms like it's just casual, like, oh, we have a rotten or a possessed in town, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, why are you guys trying to dump them in the field? So it gets kind of confusing at the beginning. So that's one critique. The other critique is, man, the ending is just fucking like, it's not even bittersweet, it's just fucking tragic and and horrible, man. It's just like literally the dude's on his knees crying out loud. Like there is, and it's hard. We've talked about it on the podcast like a million times with horror movies. It's hard for me. Like with a horror movie, I want like a bittersweet ending. Like I don't want a happy ending, because I feel like that just takes away from the tone of the movie. But I don't want it like overly devastating either. And I think this one definitely went like overly devastating. Like, I mean, he lost like everyone except like his autistic son and his brother. So those would be my only critiques with the movie. So the movie itself, though, it is very Hereditary. And it does have a lot of,
good comparison.
yes, it's a very good comparison, because like the scenes that stand out to me of like the Hereditary parts, like when the dog like just goes at that.
The dog, bro.
I had a feeling it was gonna happen, bro. I think you had mentioned something about a dog, but when she was like circling the dog and he's just sitting there, I was like, this dog's just gonna freaking
go at
it. Just go crazy on her. And I called it. I mean, I still jumped back even though I knew it was gonna happen.
Comes out of nowhere.
It comes out of nowhere. And then the other part, I think that stood out to me, that was kind of like, that made my jaw drop a little bit. Oh my god, what was it? Oh yeah, the mom coming back to get the son, and then like the brother's like driving down this part's so freaking creepy. Like, so like you can't use electrical lights, right? So he's like flashing his headlights, which I mean, the photography there looks beautiful, because you just see like this figure walking. There's something about headlights in the dark, bro, and a figure walking down that just makes it creepy. It's like when he turns off the lights and he's like rolling by, and you just see her like eating the brains of this kid. What the is does not care. It does not have any limits, bro. It is just so, and when I mean bad, I mean like it's so bad in the sense of like it violence, intensity,
and
like
grotesque,
and grotesque. It does not care. It has no limits. And the characters were all interesting too, like the dad, and learning like his history with his family, and the brother, like that one girl that had experience with like the cleaners, which was another confusing part of the beginning. They're talking about this cleaner, and you're like, what is it? I got the vibe it's like, like he's like an exorcist or something, but it's its own spin on like demonic possession and exorcisms and stuff. But it really it's just shot so well too. Like the acting's really good. It's shot really well. The cinematography's great.
Yep.
Um, the pacing was freaking fantastic because like from the get go, I mean, you know you hear gunshots in the distance and you're like, what's going on, right? And like this movie really doesn't. There's no breathing room with this movie, which is a good thing in my opinion, just because like I want that suspense, I want that tension. Like so from the get go, this movie doesn't stop. Like it just keeps going because like
Yep.
literally what they're doing is just trying to when you learn how the demon works, right, the different rules, and you understand like, okay, this is just something also reminded me of kind of like Smile, the dynamics of Smile, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like it just passes from one person to the next, or like it follows and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so once you understand the dynamics of the demon and how it works, it's just nonstop just trying to get away from it or stop the process and like you never get any breathing room. It's tension throughout the whole movie. Um but I would like I said, I would just change the beginning and the ending a little bit. I
Yeah.
get the ending, I get
It's
and
fucking
it's so fucked
tragic.
up. I mean,
Yeah.
like, he lets him live too, which I feel like that was just the I felt like the main character, like, if he coulda died right there, he probably wanted to die. I mean, he lost
Yeah.
everyone already, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but the
Yeah.
demon, like, just, like, drags its fingers over his head and just lets him live, which I feel like is even
Yeah.
just worse. It's a more
Yeah.
worse punishment than staying alive. And then the part that got me, though, was like just the worst part. I know that you're probably thinking this is the other hereditary moment is the
Yeah.
autistic son with the freaking ice cream, dude.
Yeah.
As soon as he started coughing, I'm like, this dude freaking ate his mom, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of get that, like, it's alluded with the other kid with the revolver because they're talking about
Mhm.
like I think he ate his mom.
Yeah.
And dude, that scene is just so bad. It's
Yeah.
probably it's so it's disgusting, it's hard to watch, and it's
Yeah.
disturbing too. Because I mean, this poor kid, I mean, he has no almost, like, recollection of what happened. I mean, I think he does, but obviously he's, like, severely autistic,
Yeah.
but he can't verbalize what happened or what it's just a horrible fucking scene to watch,
Yeah.
um, but overall, I mean, the movie, I think it's just really well paced, I think it's really disturbing. I just
Yeah.
wish they kind of, at the beginning, going a little bit more in terms of the dynamics of what's going on because like I'm conflicted about it. I like how it's just so casual, how they bring everything up like this is like something that's a normal part of this world. It's like, oh, we have a rotten in our town.
Yeah.
Um, but it also kind of leaves you a little bit confused. I don't know if you at the beginning you were kind of like, what's going on with this dude? Like the
Yeah.
dude in the
Yeah.
bed, and I mean, were you kind of did you have the same experience at the
Yeah.
beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't just me because I was like,
Yeah.
"What the hell is this?" Like, I was almost
Yeah.
gonna search the Wikipedia up, like, to see if
And
there's an
just read the
explanation.
plot.
Well,
Yeah.
just the beginning part because 'cause I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
understand, but like, a third into it, when they start talking about what the rotten is and the rules and everything like that, it made a lot more sense, and
Yeah.
it drove the plot a lot more clearly.
Yeah.
And it's cool just finding because I speak some Spanish, right? I'm
Yeah.
Puerto Rican, so like it's cool
Yeah.
just seeing a Spanish horror movie. Like I haven't
It's
seen a lot
great.
of like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just cool seeing a Spanish horror movie.
Yeah.
And the quality of it for a
It's
movie that
great.
I don't think this was. Did it have a wide release in Argentina?
Mm-mm.
This is just a Shutter digital release.
Mhm.
Dude, the quality is there
Yeah.
100%. Like it's
It is.
really there. Like
Yeah.
I'd probably give it to like I don't think it's Hereditary level.
No, for sure.
And that could be some of it honestly just could be because I saw Hereditary already before this, right? Like if this
Yeah.
movie came out before Hereditary did, I might have had like this is like the best horror movie that's
Yeah.
come out in years kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like Hereditary, I'd give like a 9.5. The ending is the only thing I don't like about
Yeah.
Hereditary. This I'd give like an 8.5. Like I feel like it's
Nice.
really solid. I enjoyed it. I really did. It's a
Yeah.
really good movie. It's really well put together, and I think it's only like an hour and a half, an hour
Yeah.
40 minutes.
Very tight runtime.
Very tight runtime. You're in, you're out,
Yeah.
and it's a cool little take on demonic possession. But those
Yeah.
were my only critiques. Is just the beginning's confusing and the end is just fucking tragic, dude. Like at least let the dude save someone. Like let him save his son at least, man.
Yeah.
Because like crap, like he
Yeah.
lost everyone,
Yeah. I'm
and it's
glad you enjoyed
almost
it, man.
worse to be honest. Like that the autistic kid is still like alive because like like he has to live with the fact that he ate
Mhm.
his mom. Yeah, he can't
Yeah.
express it, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But it's like it's just so bad, dude.
Yeah, and the part
Um,
where he's stuck in the car.
Yeah, too, and he's, like,
Dude.
just like that scene actually kinda creeped me out where you see the mom approaching
Yeah.
the because
The
I was like,
car.
"Who is this?" I'm like, "Is this the grandma or the mom?" Or and then you
Yeah.
just see the bloody handprint, which you've seen this before in other movies, but I think the way they did it was just so well executed.
Fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, very different take. I mean, you have this kid who can't verbalize or express what's going on, and then, you have this freaking bloody handprint there, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
The kids were creepy too. I think the kids did a great job at the end with it does kinda fall it does get quirky at the end with the kids in the school.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, it's like, the kids are, like, protecting the demon, and you're like, "What?" It 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 did fall into some of the tropes of, like, what I see with a lot of horror movies where, like, the 3rd act just kinda gets a little bit kind of
Wild.
quirky, yeah, and a
Yeah.
little wild, but, I mean, when you kinda take it for what it is, it's really well done. I mean, I haven't seen, like I said, a horror movie like, when I saw Hereditary, that was so unique, and I can say that with this one too. This one is definitely a unique horror movie that I haven't seen in a while,
Yeah.
and I think that they did a great job with it. I don't do you know if this director has other stuff that he's done, or is this,
Yeah,
like,
I
his
was actually
first
gonna shout that out for you. He has another Shudder one called Terrified that is very
Terrified?
similar and in lieu of, like, haunted house kinda deal.
Okay.
But remember that movie? I don't know if we were talking about it on podcast or off podcast, when we were looking at planned content, but that movie Satanic Hispanics?
Oh, I
Have
think,
you
yeah, we had mentioned it, yeah.
he has a part in that because it's an
Oh, okay.
anthology. He did that. His name's like Ruggiero or something like that, but I'm excited going forward because I did watch Terrified and it's good. Like,
Is it?
shout out Craig again because I went and looked at his Terrified review before going into it, and he claims it's one of the scariest movies he's seen in a long time,
Oh, wow. Did he
and I can
recommend this
back
one
that.
to you too? When
No,
Evil Lurks? Oh, okay.
this is that one where the merch had dropped, and then
Mm,
I ended up checking it out, but then I saw Craig's review, and everybody had, like, 4.5 stars. Like, "Wow, how have I not
yeah,
seen this?" And it wasn't overhyped. It didn't disappoint in any way, shape, or form. I'm
yeah.
glad I sold it to you well and didn't overhype it to the point where it's like, "Damn it, Chase." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
I'm
were
glad
almost there
that
because you were telling me, like, this is, like, the best thing, like, you
yeah,
were
best of
almost
horror.
overhyping it, but it is. I
Mm,
mean, it is one of the best horror movies. I know A24's done their bit. I mean, you could tell, obviously, this has been influenced by, like, A24, like, very
yeah,
heavily, or
yeah,
that what we talked about last podcast, kinda like the elevated kinda horror kinda deal.
yeah,
So, like, it does have, obviously, influences from like A24, The Witch, Hereditary, stuff like that. But like it does do its own thing. It does stand on its own 2 feet. It's not like ripping off of those movies. It's just you can just tell it's been influenced by them. But
yeah.
yeah, great movie, dude. I mean, I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10 if they just kind of did something different with the beginning. And maybe tweak the end. Give the guy some hope, man. Because I'm like so depressing. I mean, that was the last movie I saw because I told you I was watching a lot of movies last night. That was the last one
Yeah.
I saw, and I'm like, man, I went to bed like just like depressed. I'm like, this poor guy.
This poor guy.
Yeah,
And
he's
then you
lost
you snuggle
everyone.
up, you're like, "Damn it, man."
Yeah,
He needed some
it's
hope.
I need something positive, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but like I think I said on the last podcast, or when we were talking about Exorcist, excuse me. Like, I think Exorcist is like to me that's a perfect bittersweet like ending. Like, I mean, the priest dies, but the girl lives. Like, it's a very bittersweet ending, and that's what I want to see in a horror movie. So, but I get the sense. I mean, he knew from the get go. He just wanted to murder everyone. So
Yep.
that's just how
Yeah.
it played out. But yeah, solid movie, man. 8.5
Yeah.
out of 10 is my rating. So you hadn't seen The Big Lebowski, surprisingly. I
No.
think that surprised me and Will. I don't know if it was during a podcast or before
It
we were
was.
rolling. Oh, the
Yeah.
cult movies, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so, like, we were like, "What the hell? You have not seen The Big Lebowski?" And we
Yeah.
knew that you probably had the 4K stacked on
Yeah.
your
Yeah, it
giant
was.
stack of 4Ks.
Mm.
You're like, "Let me pull
Yeah.
it out the middle here, the
Yeah.
Jenga tower."
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So we were
exactly
like,
how it went.
I at least me personally, I was like, "You gotta watch The Big Lebowski because it's
Yeah,
it's such a fun movie, and you
it
could
is.
see other movies that have been kind of influenced by it." So, yeah, you take it, man. So what did you think about The Big Lebowski?
Man, yeah, because like, I loved it, obviously. It's just
Cool.
there are a lot of movies that influenced it, and I dare even say, like, a recent watch where I can say it is, like, Beau is Afraid. There
Mhm.
has to be, like I know you haven't seen it yet, but where just things start increasingly not making sense and get more wild and batshit crazy,
Yeah.
to where you're just kinda like, "What? What?" Like, you look away for a half second, get distracted, come back, it's in a completely
It's
different
like a
setting and
giant,
scene.
pinballs and
Yeah,
like everything like that,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time with it, man. I feel bad for Donnie, every time that dude tries to get a fucking sentence
Shut
out.
the fuck up, Donnie.
Yeah. And it's like, dude just sticks around. I don't know why. It doesn't give you any exposition, obviously, because of what happens at the end. But it's like he just exists there and he doesn't ever hear John Goodman shut the fuck up. He'll stop saying what he has, but he'll keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like the way that it starts, so many memorable lines, so many quotable lines, everything. Like, where's the fucking money, Lebowski? Where's the money, shithead? I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was like the first 60 seconds of the movie because I've heard those so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really good, really, really fun. John Goodman just plays like the car scene where they're interrogating the
Oh
15-year-old.
god, dude, yeah.
And then the neighbor that yeah, he's like, I'm sorry, man, as if that's just gonna miraculously
Yeah,
make
I
his
was gonna
car go
fix
Christine
everything.
yeah, like Christine style, and it rebuilds itself from his apology. But yeah, it was really good. I liked how it was just absolutely like, I mean, it starts making sense, but it's just like, all right, where's the money? Where's this? Where's that? Nobody knows. And it's funny that there's two Lebowskis. So
Yeah.
that's how this whole thing starts. Where's our fucking money? And he's the wrong dude and he's just minding his own business. He's like, not the rug. And I don't know why it cracked me up. Damn, man, that really sucks about the rug. It really tied the place
Yeah.
together, man.
But it's like that's the starting point for him, right? He's like, I want my
Yeah.
rug.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, the part where they find his car or whatever. Okay, but did you find the rug?
Yeah. It's like, man, what
Yeah.
the hell, dude? Like
Yeah.
that's why I love this movie. It's just the starting point is just so like, like obviously they just break in like you said at the beginning, but
Mhm.
like the thing that really kicks everything off is like, man, that rug it really tied
Yeah.
the room together. Like that's really what you're focused on, man.
Yeah, that's his whole focal point on that one, and I love it. Jeff Bridges absolutely kills it in this role, man. Like, the
Oh
part
man.
where, what is it, Bunny Lebowski or whatever, when she's doing her toes and she's like, "Blow on it," and he's just
Yeah.
so confused, and then she just like, "I'll suck you off for $1,000," and then she's like, "But he can't watch. That's an extra 100 or 500," and he just stares at her and he's like, "Alright, I'll be back. I gotta go to an ATM."
He's
It's
so
so
casual.
good, man. Yeah, so
And
many memorable lines.
ironically, Jeff Bridges' character, the dude, like
Yeah,
as crazy it is because he's really crazy and weird too. But like he's the
yeah,
sanest out of his friend group. I feel like because
yeah,
John Goodman's fucking bonkers, and then Donnie doesn't
yeah.
fucking know. Like Steve Buscemi, he doesn't know what the fuck's
Know
going
what's
on
going
half the
on.
time.
Yeah.
But like ironically, like, as crazy as Lebowski is, he is like the sanest person in his friend group.
Yeah, exactly, and he's just so passive and everything, even though, like, there's moments in the movie where he could fight or try to defend himself, he's just like, "Ah." And
Yeah.
then, oh, dude, the toilet scene, he says something so slight, whenever he's, like, giving him the swirlies and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that, he's like, "I don't know, man, I might have to go back under to get a better look for this money," or something like that, because he doesn't know. He says something along those lines, and it was just so funny, and then, yeah, I mean, overall, man, it's a great time, and it definitely warrants rewatches, finding out, like,
Oh, for
smaller
sure.
pieces and stuff like that. And especially the part whenever, he sleeps with that one girl, and then she's, like, turning herself, like
Julianne Moore. Yeah.
oh, that was Julianne Moore, yeah,
Yeah.
so she,
Yeah.
like, lifts her bottom half up, and he's like, "Are you doing yoga afterwards?" She's like, "No, I'm trying to make sure I conceive."
Yeah.
And he goes,
He's like
you
spits
know?
out his classic. What is that drink? The vodka, coffee,
The
whatever the
the
hell.
white Caucasian or, like, it's like
Yeah,
the
the
White
White
Russian
Russian.
or
Yeah, the like drinks
yeah.
throughout the whole freaking movie.
Yeah, the White Russians. But then it's funny because then there's that guy that's stalking him outside, and he was like, "Man," he says something about to be a dad. He's like, "I just had to help my lady friend conceive over here," you know? And you're over here stalking me.
He's so
Uh,
casual about it.
yeah, and then the part with the gun when he's pulling out the gun to mark it 0, he's like, "Put the piece away,
Right.
man. They're
Yeah.
calling the cops, man."
Oh, yeah, because
Like,
that was with, what you think of Jesus?
oh, dude, yeah, I was actually gonna pose that question. He's in it such a short time to get his own
Mhm.
spinoff movie.
Yeah. I mean, like,
It's weird.
from my understand, the Coens, I don't think they had anything to do with the spinoff movie.
Yeah,
But, I mean, I mean, I've never seen it. I just heard that it wasn't that good, but, I mean, the small screen time he does have in this movie, it's, like,
he's
fucking
good.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, really good.
My favorite line probably in it was whenever he was bashing the car, "I'll show you what happens when you fuck a stranger." Every swing he says that, and then that's
God,
when the
dude.
the neighbor comes out. But yeah, dude, overall great time, really, really funny. Very like surprisingly chill during all the intense moments. You know, it's like
Oh yeah.
it's intensely chill. You know, like it's a weird way to describe a movie, but very laid back, very quirky, very kooky, very different. And I'm surprised there isn't a sequel because this is a movie that, despite characters, but just the realm, the world,
Mhm.
I'm surprised they haven't revisited it. And I don't think the Coens do sequels, right?
Not from my understanding, I'm trying to think of their filmography. I don't think they've done any. I could be
Any
wrong.
sequels,
Someone correct me.
all
Yeah,
one
any
and done.
sequel. Yeah, like I think this is
Yeah.
one and done and it's over. But I mean, yeah, you could technically build a
Yeah.
sequel off of this. I mean, you could go
Yeah.
on like movies after movies, but I think what makes it so special is just that it's like what you said, even the intense moments are just so casual. I mean, this dude's getting
Yeah.
assaulted and his face, rammed into the toilet and he's just like, whatever, like he doesn't care. Like he's like, come on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like that's his reaction to everything. It's not like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, I'm getting assaulted." It's like, "Come
Yeah.
on, man, like really?"
Yeah. And like the second time that people enter his residence, he's like, "This is a private residence, man."
He's in the bathtub too. He's like,
Yeah.
"Come on, dude."
And they have a
Like,
fucking ferret.
oh yeah, the ferret scene. I was gonna ask you. This is the part I laughed like the loudest at, and it's a
Yeah.
split-second moment. The Folgers coffee cup at the end
Which
with Donnie, the funeral scene.
Oh, yeah, whenever he asks if there's a Ralph's nearby and they get the Folgers. Oh, dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
specifically
The
when the
wind.
wind blows. Dude, I died laughing the first time I saw that. He
Yeah.
literally like, just throws it up and just goes all in his face. I'm like, "Are you kidding me,
And
dude?"
all in his beard too and
Yeah.
everything, all lined right here, and that's the only time you see him get, like, actually floored, like, actually pissed
Yeah,
off,
like a little
is
pissed.
only when Goodman's in there. Only he was like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah. Well, even when it happens, like, ironic like, he's just sitting there standing. Like, he doesn't even, like, react. He's just sitting there with the fucking ashes all over him, but
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
it
man,
was
yeah,
great.
it's fun if you rewatch it whenever you get a chance to rewatch it, obviously, because you see, like, a little hints here and there of, like, what the story is and how it's playing out.
Yeah.
It's cool to rewatch, but I'm glad you so what would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, a solid, 9, and I'm pretty
9?
sure I would bring it higher. Yeah, solid
Yeah.
9. Yeah, this is a cult classic for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's just some parts, I mean, really, there's not a dry moment. It constantly goes. I don't know, maybe a little bit more explanation would tie it together a little bit
Mhm.
better throughout it versus giving you, like, a dump towards the end. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that
You
makes
know,
sense.
because it's not really like a dump as much as it's like, okay, none of this is really making sense, this and that, but that's the world they wanna give you. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's well warranted for the status that it has and everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah, like, this was a great recommendation. I knew you knew I'd like it. It's right up
Yeah, I
my
think Will
alley.
said the same thing too. It's
Yeah,
just I mean, I
yeah,
haven't met someone who doesn't like this movie because it's just so chill and laid back that it's like you
yeah,
could literally just play it and, come back and, watch any part of it and you're just gonna have a good time with it. I'm glad you
yeah,
liked it.
yeah.
So the next versus video, guys, I think the next one we have lined up is the Sacrament.
The
I think
Sacrament
Chase is
versus
gonna have me
Tenet.
and Tenet, and you gotta really pay
Yeah,
dude, you gotta pay attention to Tenet. I'm just saying, because if you
yeah,
don't, if you just have it in the background, you are gonna get fucking confused. Or you
yep.
might not. I mean, there are some people who don't get confused with it, but,
Yeah, try to
uh,
understand it and are able to.
yeah, there's some people in the server, I think, because the re-release just came out, and some people are saying that the 3rd time's the charm.
Yeah. 3rd
Watching
time's the
it,
charm.
yeah, that they like it a lot more
Yeah,
with the 3rd watching, but yeah, next one, will be out maybe this week, I think. I think we're gonna try and do it maybe sometime this week,
yeah.
for the next verses, but I'm glad you liked it, dude.
Hell
I
yeah.
think this is probably the most successful
Most
verses
successful
that we've
pairing
had,
we've had.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because like, I
yeah,
think we both came out really liking the movies. I think this is,
yeah.
like, the highest ratings for both ends, so we'll see how
We'll
the
see
next
about
one
next
goes.
week because
Yeah,
I
exactly.
really wish I had watched Tenet just because I gotta know how you feel about Sacrament
Now
'cause I
I'm
know
not
you
gonna
already
say
watched
anything
it.
until the video, yep.
I know, man. So, yeah, I'll end up watching Tenet and we'll get on it, but as always, everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for more from Screen to Shelf content. Thank you, everybody.
Catch you guys later.